And I am live with terrible internet access, apparently. Typical of StreamYard. Typical of StreamYard. Let me see if there's anything I can do to rectify the situation. Probably not. Probably not. It's probably a StreamYard. Golden Coin 100 returning to form first in the live chat, admonishing me to stay home. I don't know if that's advice regarding the movie The Matrix Resurrections, too late, or if it's commentary on something else. But regardless, Golden Coin 100 returning to his old standard ways, first in the live chat and true to form, old school form, here before we even went live, followed by Lisa Kane grabbing that silver for YouTube. Dan Dolson grabbing that bronze. Jonaside, fourth place on YouTube. No medal, but a mention. Golden Coin 100. Number one on Twitch as well. I want to take this opportunity also to say hello, whether he shows up in the live chat or not, probably not. He is recovering from kidney surgery. Our friend of the channel, friend to me, Reemsy. Recover well, my friend, from your surgery. Saw on Twitter that he's recovering from surgery. So get well, Reemsy. And thank you to Michael Amnieros for taking care of national, if not, well, yes, international, scratch that, galactic treasure, Reemsy. Absolutely. There you go. Paranormal Hood Jiggy is here with us. We got Carlos Huertos here with us as well. There you go, with that international flavor. Jonaside grabbing that silver on Twitch. Good to see. Good to see. There you go. We got Eflin for you as well. Eflin for you. We got Chester Hunter with us as well. We got this. Okay. Dan Dolson says, I'm going to watch carefully. Look, The Matrix is one of those things. It's philosophical things abound. That's one of the issues. What do I mean? When we speak of the Matrix movies and we speak of what we like and we speak of what is interesting or good about it, are we speaking about things that it does? Or are we merely talking about things that it invokes or references? Are we talking about what it actually does, achieves, or does new? Or are we just talking about what it points to or what it references? When we talk about the Matrix movies, are we talking about something that is fantastic about the whole series? Or are we really talking about things that might be contained within the first movie, first two movies? When we speak about the impact, the cultural impact that the Matrix has had, do we need to know and understand that for different communities of people, the underground and the norms, that this Matrix movie may have had cultural impacts on different levels and for different reasons. For some people, it's the green screens and the computer CGI and the bullet time animations. And for some, it is those existential philosophical questions that harken back to ancient Advaita Hindu philosophies and Buddhist philosophical questions, as well as questions that, philosophical questions that go back to ancient Greece, or concepts of what it means to be or to be conscious, or questions of free will that were present in the philosophical works of Descartes and others. But to invoke the philosophical concept, is that to do or have achieved something? And if we look at how the Matrix movies brings forth these philosophical questions, can we say, okay, well, look, baby's first philosophical, whoa, man. But wait, like, I've never seen a tree that, like, I haven't seen. So, like, how do I know that there's, like, a tree outside of, like, my mind, man? Like Dan Dawson's, like, having conniptions for every, like, This is my imitation. Dan Dawson probably has this all the time as a philosophy professor, right? He sees it coming. Dan, can you cover my 101 class? 101 class? What is it? No, please, no. Class ends. Okay, that went okay. Oh, here he comes. Oh, I can smell Jamaica from here. Here it's happening. Oh, here he is. Hey, professor. Descartes, man, what do you think he would think of the Matrix? This kid has to die, and this kid has to. Kid Dan Dawson would never kill the youth. There you go. There you go. So that's one of the questions. So look, dancing about architecture. Here it is. I watched The Matrix Resurrections. I didn't know if I would like it. I just have a couple of notes here. Just a couple of notes here, and I want to get through them, and I don't want to belabor the points. Here's the thing with me that I'm learning, and I've been doing YouTube over 6 years, and here's the thing that I am learning. I repeat myself. Part of the reason that my videos are so long is that I am haunted by the notion that I am not understood, that I haven't communicated something clearly, that there might be this misunderstanding or this misunderstanding. So if I go over it again, or if I come back again, or if I articulate it one slightly different way, that'll clarify it. And it doesn't really do it, I don't think. And I've got X amount of stuff that I want to get through, and I have less than 40 minutes to do it because I want to hit the road by around 8 o'clock. So if I look at this stuff, if I've got one, two, if I hold on, let me think of this. Let me see if I can think of it scientifically. Hold on, scientifically. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say I've got 4 pages of notes and I got 40 minutes. It means I got 10 pages to spend on each friggin' page. So I'm going to set a timer up here, and I'm going to know that every 10 minutes I have to move on to a different page. And that'll keep things moving. Maybe. Or is it just going to be annoying with the clock constantly going off? I don't know. Let me see what happens. Maybe if I just set it and have here as like a visual. So look, I started watching the movie, and when I first started watching the movie, I said to myself, I said, I'm not going to take notes. I said, I'm just going to watch the movie. And when I speak to the community, when I speak to the audience, I am just going to Dan Dawson. The entire Matrix saga is Plato's allegory of the cave. Pretty much absolutely. Pretty much absolutely. Pretty much absolutely. And then, I started taking notes, and the simplest thing I've already said, on yesterday's stream, which is that, the Matrix Resurrections is kind of like a microcosm of the Matrix trilogy, in the sense that for some unknown reason, Layla Wachowski, I believe that's the director's name, shoehorned what seems like 2.5 movies into one, that I'm not going to be able to spell Wachowski. I'm just going to have to look up the Matrix and then backtrack to this girl from there. Um, uh, if at the hour and a half mark, I was prepared to give the Matrix Resurrections a good review, an absolutely good review. I thought at the hour and a half mark, I was looking at a very cerebral, basically art house, kind of, existential sci-fi adjacent exploration, not an action movie by any stretch of the imagination, but certainly an intriguing movie, and I thought a successful one. By an hour and 45-minute mark, my notes indicate that I'd said the movie had absolutely shit the bed, and that's almost exactly what happened with the original 3 Matrix movies. The first Matrix movie was not a perfect movie by any stretch of the imagination, but certainly made a cultural impact for a reason. It certainly was a quality movie. I mean, it certainly stands up there with the likes of brilliant but not perfect science fiction movies like Logan's Run, Saturn 3. There's different movies out there that are fantastic but not perfect. Um, and this was definitely up there. I don't know if it was 2001: A Space Odyssey. I don't even know if it was Alien, but it was definitely a piece of cinema. It was definitely a good movie. I don't know if you could say that for the other two movies that followed, that I think took the main, what I thought were the most interesting aspects of the movie, which was the philosophy. Lena Wachowski, I keep on calling her Lila for some. There's a Lily, and there's a Lena, and I think I keep on conflating them into one dynamic broad. Let me get to the gal. Lena Wachowski. Let me see. Here we go. Who I would do. I got to be honest with you. I'm very honest with myself, and I'm very honest and upfront with people. I would fuck Lena Wachowski in a minute, and it's got nothing to do with her bank account. Um, I thought the other one. I thought we had another conversion on this team, but maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm mistaken. But anyway, so it is what it is. But regardless of me being open to her as a bedroom partner, I would not be open with her as an artistic collaborator. Well, that's not necessarily true. But I didn't like what happened with the Matrix Resurrections. But let me just get through this. The first thing that I noted was that I wrote the first thing that I rushed to my notebook to write down was the following. Lena Wachowski speaking directly to audience, RE justification and reason on position to do Matrix 4 during conversation between Thomas Anderson, Neo, handsome man. What's his face? Whoa. Keanu Reeves, and the guy that turns out to be Agent Smith. It's like, and I'm not even going to get into the whole. I'm not even going to try and make heads or tails of the whole what happened. We're doomed if we try and do that. I'll just go to my notes and go through my notes and kind of tell you what I thought. And I thought that was brilliant. And after the fact, when we talked about this yesterday, I pointed out the fact that this could have been purely propaganda. And what this was there was a moment where you basically, have, what the setup is is that it's set up that Thomas Anderson, Neo's character, believes that the previous Matrix movies or life that he lived was actually a video game that he had done called The Matrix, and that he's working now at a video game company that was responsible for the production of these video games. And he's got a business partner, kind of the suit, the money man. And this is a new incarnation of Agent Smith, who's controlling him, but not in like he used to as a law enforcement agent, but is now controlling him in this much more intimate kind of way. And there's this beautiful aspect. We learned that basically that the Neo character is basically a stand-in for Lana. That this is basically the director's avatar, and that when we see that it's explained to us, and this is what I think is brilliant, is that there's a lot of opportunities that we get. And I may not articulate myself that well, but we get a lot of opportunities where we're basically explained in a very artistically satisfying way. We're having an opportunity to have the director actually tell us, kind of like a director's commentary, but not removed on some sort of DVD menu as a ghost voice, but is actually being articulated through the characters. We're told explicitly the Neo character is the director, is basically, Lana. We are told that, that the bifurcation of identities. We're explained a little bit of the narrative of the drive, the creative drive to make these characters or to make these movies happen. What the drive was, or what was learned, or what had to be done again. And some of these things are resolved, and some of them are not resolved. And there's enough here to say that this is this is the part of the frustration with the Matrix is that if it was just a bad movie, it would be a bad movie, and if it was just a fantastic movie, it'd be a fantastic movie. But the fact that it's this kind of great, amazing thing that's tethered to all this failure is what makes it kind of so shocking. The Wachowskis are not famous for making a lot of successful movies. They've kind of really coasted on Matrix 1. Jupiter Ascending. I mean, it's Bound, it's Matrix 1, and then it's the other two Matrix movies, and the Speed Racer was kind of risible. It certainly wasn't a critical, success by any stretch of the imagination. It is what it is. I don't want to get lost in the weeds. I want to keep on moving here. So that was the first thing that I noted, and that was the first thing that impressed me. And you're going to see as my notes go, I start off impressed. I'm going to start writing down things that I think are interesting and noteworthy and great. And then by the time we get to the end, it's just going to be kvetches and complaints. It's just going to be conventions and complaints. I don't know if Thomas Anderson is a wink to Paul Thomas Anderson of Magnolia and There Will Be Blood. You'd have to dig into the archives for that. I'd be surprised if it was, because I would find them to be kind of contemporaries versus anyone that would want to wink or nod to each other. But maybe they were buddies. I have no idea. Anyway, so here we go. So that was the first thing that I noted, was this great thing. But I do note that it could be propaganda. Basically, you have spoiler alert. I'm going to proceed as if you saw the movie. Because to do otherwise, if I try to do otherwise, we will not be successful. We'll never get through it. So moving on, premise 2, a possible theme. What if Neo took the blue pill? How would the message get to him? So, basically, so I took these notes contemporaneously with watching the movie. So as we go through, you're going to see me kind of, backtrack over again. Eventually, you're going to see me write down that basically this Matrix Resurrections can be considered the blue pill movie. If the original Matrixes are about, the Thomas Anderson character Neo affirmatively just saying, take the red pill, wake up, realize that the Matrix is a lie, and, begin the hero's journey, right off the bat. What do you do with a sleeper? What do you do with a reluctant? When we deal with the Neo in this movie, when we deal with Trinity in this movie, we're not dealing with people who are kind of tripwired to wake up. In fact, we're talking about two people that, through a variety of circumstances, because they're really tired, tied and mired in, and because for a variety of reasons they're tired and are older, they're mired into the Matrix a lot more. And this is really about the blue pill and how you would, I guess, deal with the blue pill, or maybe why you would take the blue pill, or to what degree could a person that has taken the blue pill have a life? I don't know. We'll see if we get there. Possible theme. What if Neo took the blue pill? How would the message get to him? Because that's part of the premise, is that Neo is still asleep. He's still at the video game company. He's with the psychiatrist who's giving him these medications to keep him in the Matrix. We'll take about that. There's a kind of a notion of psychedelics, like the red pill, breaking the loop as being we all know the Matrix. And that's part of the reason the Matrix is successful, is part of the reason that Cheech and Chong are successful. It's part of the reason that, no offense, poster artist, what's his face? Overrated poster artist, what's his face? Tool guy, what's his face? Adidas Mirage Initiate. You don't know that, by the way. What's his name? That guy. The fucking, all the faces looking around. What's his face? The Tool guy, Parabola guy. What the fuck, that guy? Everything is fucking that guy. Poster art guy, whatever. That guy, the fucking MC Escher of fucking 1997. You know who I'm talking about. That guy. Someone's gonna write it. Brando. I guarantee you, Brando's gonna write in the name. Alex Gray. There you go. Absolutely. I knew it. I knew you were gonna get it. Alex, Frag Magic got it right before you. God bless you. God bless you both. Dan Dolson. Thomas is a representation of Lana's blue pill taking, not wanting to admit her personal experience wrestling with normal social conventions concerning blue or the masculine pill, red pill allowed. I don't know if that's the case. There were some things here that I noted, but we this whole psychedelic thing of like if you're associated with like Cheech and Chong or stoner rock bands or psychedelic rock bands like the Grateful Dead or Fish. Once you let people know that you are about drugs as an entertainer, you're through you're guaranteed a certain modicum of success. It's like being a Christian artist. You're guaranteed a certain amount of success because there's just a built-in audience that's just going to love you because it's self-ratifying. We just, whoa, man. And the psychedelic journey is not, if you're doing it in a movie theater, it's probably not that psychedelic a journey, but that's whatever. Anyway, so anti-psychedelics as the blue pill, but that's a real reservation I have about this one. One of the first things, so is this really just a psycho biopic of the director? She's Neo. I'm back where I started. Narrative of digital self-images as explanation for Lana Wachowski as Keanu Reeves. I don't know. Practicing mindfulness. Oh, but here's the thing. Here's part of the thing. There's a lot of like anti-mental health stuff happening in this movie. The new architect that's primarily the most energized and the most responsible for keeping Neo in the Matrix is Neil Patrick Harris, who is Neo's psychiatrist, who's giving him blue pills. So the mental health medication and the mental health practitioner that's taking care of Neo is the individual that we're being told is the person that's keeping Neo trapped in the prison. That's a very dangerous message. That is this absolutely dangerous message. Why? Because people who have bipolar disorder, people who have manic, have psychotic tendencies, don't necessarily want to take their medication because they often feel as though their medication puts them into a box. And they often are very suspicious about the people that want them to take medication. And why? Because they feel as though the people that are giving the medication are giving the medication to control them. It is a specific line of anti-psychiatry narrative. And there's an anti-psychiatry movement. I see people are noting Scientology. Scientology has a huge aspect of an anti-psychiatry aspect that a lot of people know about and talked about. There is an independent of Scientology, there is an anti-psychiatric movement. There is absolutely a human rights movement worldwide and internationally that has a lot of different aspects. It's got aspects of the anarchist community. It's got a lot of support in the homosexual community. It's got a lot of support in the communist community, a lot of different communities, also in religious communities who believe that psychiatry is this kind of like weird, kind of pseudoscience that, and that a lot of the medications and stuff. Now, I'm not here to take a position or to advocate for one side or the other. I'm just noting the accuracy of saying that it may very well be the fact that Lana Wachowski has an anti-psychiatric attitude or disposition. But that doesn't change the fact that as a person that I note that this is a prevalent theme, and especially in this community where we talk about the interaction of targeted individuals, or we talk about the interaction between people who might have problems with mental health and their interaction with fictional narratives and the inability to tell fictional narratives from fact, and the special difficulty where they can get online with people that will ratify There are misconceptions about the difference and distinctions between the two, and especially where there are people in this community who are willing to take advantage of that. And while they themselves are not under the illusion or the delusion that they have actually experienced these things, they know that they're lying, I presume, and assume that they know that people are credulous and will believe. This is scary because we know that these people in this community are into the Matrix movies. They're huge into the Matrix movies. And now here it is. The psychiatrists are architects trying to keep you into the Matrix. Don't take the medication. It is as common as anything for people who hear voices. People who suffer from schizophrenia who hear voices to report that those voices are telling them not to take their medication. Why? Because the medication is being given to them by people who want to hurt them, and the voices are the ones that want to help them. In the instance of the movie The Matrix, the voices are the people that are telling Neo, we want to wake you up from the Matrix. And the voices that are trying to tell Neo to ignore the voices are being set up and defined as the people that are trying to cruelly keep Neo in the Matrix. It gets even kind of a little bit weirder. At one point, there's this kind of strange breakdown scene where there's people running around with all these guns, and all of a sudden, at one point, someone pulls a M16 machine gun on Thomas Anderson in presumably what he believes to be the real world, what we understand to be the Matrix, but what he thinks is to be the real world. We see Thomas Anderson self-consciously go and start practicing mindfulness techniques. The person brings the gun on him, and we see all of a sudden, we immediately see Neo trying to feel his fingers. And you start to see him smell. It's a mindfulness technique. Think of 5 things that you can touch. Think of 5 things that you can hear. It's a grounding technique. And I wrote down, he has a machine gun pulled on him and he's practicing mindfulness. And in my notes, I say, practicing mindfulness while having a gun put at your head, and also being gaslit into staying asleep, because at one point he's practicing this mindfulness while the architect is telling him that he's doing the right thing. Is it the right or wrong thing to do? Are we being told that this mindfulness technique is a grounding technique to keep Neo in the Matrix? Is this an anti-mindfulness message? Or are we being told that is the underlying message going to be that through these mindfulness techniques, even though he's under the influence of the so-called blue pill, through these mindfulness techniques, he will still somehow come out the other end? I don't know. And again, we will be left with the Matrix movies. The reason that the Matrix movies, a lot of these things are so successful. The Matrix, 99.9% of the output of guys like Tim and Eric, a great show, or that guy from Rick and Morty, the guy who did Community, those guys like Dan whatever his face, like not like a lot of the appeal is they just throw shit at you that's kind of like mindfuck juice. And so you're there thinking, and you're under the impression that they did something amazing, and all they did was introduce a thought, a kind of a bizarre thought experiment. And you confuse their ability to just kind of throw something out there with their ability to throw something out there well, or their ability to really articulate or introduce something new. Dan Dawson gives some input. Dan Dawson says, because Matrix 4 is anti-psychology insofar as the hostility she meant as a male taking the masculine appeal in the aughts, she probably met with plenty of people telling him, Wachowski, to stay blue. Who knows? He knows. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, I think Dan, what I'll say is, Dan, if you're referencing a specific interview with Lana that you could point to, I'd be interested if we're but if you're just free associating or giving your thoughts, let me know. And that's not a judgment. That's just I'm just looking for context. And I thought about that as well. But the interesting thing is this is that you can't. It's hard for me to imagine. Um, First of all, I mean the notion of like the blue pill being the masculine pill and the red pill being feminine is like because I mean Tiffany's under the influence, Trinity's under the influence of the blue pill as well, right? Okay, here we go. Let me just try and get through this, or else we're doomed. Because technically, I've got 12 minutes, and I'm on page 2. Um, uh, this movie what uses blue. It's the blue pill movie. Mental health is the blue pill. Therapist is the architect. Jude, one of his handler programs is called Jude. I wrote down the bots narrative is interesting. Blue Pill Land, loops and treadmills. They keep on making reference to that. And Alice in Wonderland, reappraisal of impact on society. Maybe the reappraisal of the impact of the Matrix movies on society is part of this. Second part, Christ narrative overload. Oh, this is me going to talk about the second part of the movie. This is where they go to the second I guess the replacement city for Zion is this thing called Io, which is very interesting because Io is kind of, I guess it's a Gnostic term, and I think it's also used in Thelema. Where is this? Which is Aleister Crowley's Io, a magical formula of the highest. Hold on, let me see something. Hold on. So yeah, the chapter of IAO. This formula is the principal and most characteristic formula of Osiris, the redemption of mankind. So this is Osiris. This is the Christ narrative. So again, it's like it's beautiful. It's there, but it's like once it's when you find something accidentally, it's an accident. When you find something that's been put there, self-consciously, it's not synchronicity. It's just there. Second part, Christ narrative overlord is the city called Io. If so, crazy. Io as superior to Zion. Why? Because of incorporation of the programs and the AIs. They're getting along now. Everyone's coochie crunch, and that's why they're working together. That's fantastic, and that's wonderful. There you go. Here I move on to page number 3 of my notes. Acknowledgement. That is the oh shit. I wrote these notes in the dark. It's also a Greek goddess, absolutely. Here we go. Acknowledgement that in the context of the cycles of birth, death, and rebirth, parentheses, trans, question mark, close parentheses, that the loops and treadmills of the blue pill will always reemerge and renew themselves itself. Loops and treadmills of the hero's journey in this sense is that even this is like in my understanding of the Jain conception of reincarnation is that there is never any release from the cycle of birth and death. In the Hindu and the Buddhist conception of the cycle of reincarnation, there's a possible for moksha or ultimate release, the release from the cycle of birth and death. In Jainism, to the best of my understanding, is that there can be an assessment or an attainment of some lofty heavenly celestial state, but even gaining to that state given infinite time, everything is in motion. That enlightened soul will come back down to earth. Okay. And in that sense, all things, all states are transitory. All things become loops and treadmills. Even this notion of the ultimate epiphany of a Messiah, like a Christ or a Buddha or a Neo, right? That Neo must constantly be reborn from the matrix, subsumed into the matrix, and reborn again. Even if the original plan of the architect and the oracle and the machine city, even if that goes afoul, and even if peace is declared, it will still be necessary for maybe even the AI, artificial intelligence consciousnesses, as well as the biological consciousnesses, to forever be going through this cycle of attaining and losing enlightenment, perchance. But then again, perchance, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into it, right? That's the other thing. The Matrix provides all these rabbit holes, these loops, and these valleys that you can project into all you want to. We mentioned the work of Alex Gray. If you take acid or you smoke a lot of dope and look at a trippy poster or picture, man, you're going to see some trippy poster shit, because that's how it works, right? It's not rocket science, you know what I mean? Agent Smith as Shadow, necessary aspect of Neo. Remember the tarot cards? Don't worry about that. The tarot card spread, because I have a Matrix tarot card spread that I really digged doing and using. They have the Merovingian. At this point, there was some stuff that at a certain point, just like the first three Matrix movies, you start off with the first one with, yes, there's these smoke and mirrors, there are these special effects, but there's this core philosophical quandary that provides the real push towards any sort of real artistic brilliance. And then you have afterwards. So we go from being able to contemplate these trans narratives and issues of control and questions of reoccurring cycles and loops within even, larger metastructures. And then we get just into things like Agent Smith as Shadow, necessary part of Neo, and the Merovingian, quote unquote, you stole my life, pure internal matrix narrative, one of few instances. Then I write here, just like Star Wars franchise, self reference disease. How many beats are required to be hit to make it a Matrix movie? And also another question, maybe, please the fans. Evidence by prevalence of shot for shot remakes scenes. How many times do you go to see a new Star Wars movie, whether it was the original remake trilogy or the subsequent trilogy, where it was like dun dun, where the the seascape, and it's like, really, we have to do all these fucking beats? Really, we have to do all these fucking beats to have it to know that it's a Star Wars movie? Is what makes it, is the world of Star Wars that thin that if we don't hit, someone with looking over a fucking grandscape with binoculars, we won't understand that it's fucking Star Wars? Are you serious? That's sad. That's sad to think that movie is that world is that thin that if a lightsaber doesn't show up, we'd be at risk of not realizing that we were in Star Wars. Excuse me. And it's the same thing with the Matrix. It's the fact that the world is so thin that if someone doesn't run by and quickly remind you that they're an agent from outside or an interloper from outside, that you're going to wake up or some shit. And here's the other thing. They incorporate so many scenes from the original movie, it's not even fucking funny. But the movie starts off with a shot-for-shot remake of the first scenes from the first movie. But later on, they incorporate scenes from the first movie that are shot-for-shot takes from the first movie, but the first part of it is not taken from the first movie. Let me explain this. Oh, this is what's confusing. Okay. In this movie, they constantly show clips from the original movies. Okay? Despite the fact that they constantly show clips from the original movie, at some point in the very beginning of the movie, they reshoot the scenes from the original movie that make no sense. At the end, they showed credits, and they showed a credit for Christina Ricci, and I'm like, I know that bitch. I know that bitch's left cheek from her right cheek. I know that chick. I know her fat. I know her skinny. I know Christina Ricci at every stage of her development. I know that girl. Where the fuck was she? And then I realized she was at the beginning of the movie. She was playing friggin' Trinity, I think, in the beginning of the movie. But here's the thing. If you're gonna have a person playing, why did you shoot? If you're gonna put just clips, I don't understand. And that's the other thing. It's like, are these people brilliant filmmakers, or did they get lucky? Is this brilliant filmmakers, or did they just get lucky with a great idea? It's like Tobe Hooper with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? Has he done anything? You know what I mean? There you go. Brando, I wish they did a better Merovingian. It didn't make any sense. I mean, it really didn't make any sense. It was, I believe, it was the original actor. Dan Dawson writes, in my opinion, as a transgender person, I think it's an interesting idea of making the woman, Trinity, as essentially as part of the one, just as a man Neo is. It's interesting that the one is no longer binary. Well, I think the one becomes binary because they become not singular. It doesn't become Neo. They become binary in the sense that they become duo. It's kind of a little bit interesting there. But I understand what you're saying. Here's Alfie Solomon's. I don't think the Matrix franchise is this heady philosophical think piece as much as everyone likes to say it is. It's simulation theory, humans philosophizing themselves out of existence. I tend to agree. That's my central question, my central kind of theory about the Matrix is that there's not a lot of here, and that's part of the problem. There you go. Okay, so let me just kind of get through this stuff. Da 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 da. Last part with architect, psychiatrist, simple demo of reboot with growth model for the narrative, new architect, new matrix, new insights from past incarnations, repetition with change, mutations. Meh. Blue avian cheeseball musical CGI doohickey shows up. Sadness of the everything that is happening with the movie when it's in Io. This is me talking. This movie just sucked at this point. At some point, this like blue avian hieroglyphic shithead shows up. It's just sad. The general character is ultra lame. This kind of Niobe character was a stupid character. Aspects of this is the point. This is where I said this is the point where everything started to fall fucking to shit. From now on, it's going to be real quick. It's just good because at the end of the review, there's no more philosophical, interesting stuff. It's just, how did this movie fucking shit the bed? Aspects of plot seemingly rip off the plot for The Good Place, the sitcom The Good Place, or vice versa, because The Good Place came after The Matrix. So maybe you could say that aspects of The Good Place rip off The Matrix. Improvements to reboot rule of I don't know, whatever. 1 hour, 45 minutes. Timestamp movie has gone to total dog shit, trying to shove an act 9 into this movie. 3 movies in, repeat of great to shit show cycle arc of first 3 movies, intentional ? Design ? Happening at same time as meta and metaverse news deploy, bio to virtual and back interaction, AI and bioconsciousness interaction, because they're going back and forth. You can go back and forth between the Matrix and the physical world for these guys, I guess. Danger of background fake drone people dehumanized, permission to violate. Oh, because once Trinity realizes that her husband and her children are just programs, she just can get rid of them, whatever. But that's exactly what a cult convinces you to do. These are background people. Dolores Cannon. These are background people. These are background people. These people aren't real. There's only 144,000 real people, the Jehovah's Witnesses, plus plenty of people in this kind of weirdo mother channeling strangeosity JS6 world we occupy and live in. There are plenty of people telling people they're background people, that they're not the real people, that they're programs. That's a great way to get people shot, is to tell people that some people are programs. No one's a program. You're not in the matrix. This is a real world. There are systems of control. Deal with it. Life on life's terms. That's what I would suggest. That's my editorial. Danger of whatever. Final big fight. Sure looks bad. Oh, it's stupid. I like the black cat. My note to myself, devalued to 1995 CGI TV style. By the time we get to the end of this movie, you really kind of feel like they were running out of money. 2 final boss battles, Architect and then Smith. Why? Movie should have already ended when Neo and Trinity start working together as a team. It is cheese city. It is embarrassing. Number 2, here's the other thing. You never thought Keanu Reeves could age? They show you how you can age Keanu Reeves. You shave the beard. Keanu Reeves in 2022 without a beard is Christopher Walken. Actually not. He's kind of like not quite as old Al Pacino. He's really kind of like elderly Marilyn Manson. You don't believe me? Watch Matrix Resurrections. Should have just been 1 movie, not 3. By making it 3, you bring in the crap that was Matrix 2 and Matrix 3. I would have given a glowing review if polled at 1 hour and 30 minutes, normal movie length, ironically. How the Matrix works. Read this part first. Of course, I read this part last. Note how many themes, concepts, philosophies, and ideas that are referenced tacitly in the films. Note how many of these are cross-cultural references appearing in many cultures. Note how many could be the subject of their own 100-part series. That's the point. Throw 1,000 philosophical ideas. It's postmodern nonsense. It's meta, right? Another central theme. Union of divine masculine and divine feminine. Stuff of shift of praise from Neo, the one, to Trinity. Each aspect redeeming the other. That's beautiful. That's fine. Advaita versus Messiah, the Adidasa Mirage problem. I am a god, or she is a god. Everyone is God. The Matrix philosophical wonder is destroyed in light of Neo's Messiah status. That what I mean by that is that Advaita philosophy and the Adidasa Mirage problem. Okay, here we go. So there's a philosophy, ancient Hindu philosophy called Advaita, that basically designs and is an attempt to get the human jiva, the soul, to realize that you are part and parcel of God, that you are undifferentiated from God. And in discovering that you are part and parcel of God, that you are in union with God, you essentially are God. But it's not that you're God, it's that everything is God, right? But there was a guy called Adidasa Miraj, who Ken Wilber was a devotee of, and Ken Wilber did help do the commentary along with other Stay Puft Marshmallow pseudo-intellectual Cornel West, my brother. I love that guy. Nonsense guy. Lovely human being, but a nonsense individual. Lovely, though. Lovely human. Love him, but nonsense. Love him. He's great. I love him, but he's nonsense, but I love him. Ask critical questions about the people you interact with, Cornel West, and then maybe you won't end up giving praise on the lectern to murderers and child rapists. Did you know that Cornel West is on tape giving praise to child molesters and murderers? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Alleged child molesters and alleged murderers. Anyway, that's a story for another time. Anyway. But Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Nothing can happen if Krishna's around, right? Nothing bad can happen. Anyway, there you go. Tell the kids that got raped. Anyway, here we go. That guy studied Advaita philosophy and came out with the conclusion that he was God. So it's the same thing. It's like if everyone's waking up from the Matrix and we wake up from the Matrix and we wake up from the Matrix and we've woken up from the Matrix and have some sort of achievement and we have the achievement and that's beautiful. But if Neo is some sort of Messiah and we have to accept Neo and we have to believe in Neo and we have to rely on Neo to save us, well, then we're just in some sort of fucking patriarchal fucking gangbang. And even if we get the husband and the wife, we get, Adam and Eve, still we're trapped in some sort of hero worship cycle that everyone could blow me. Anyway, this movie was The Matrix Resurrections. We'll see if another one comes out. You know what I mean? I give the movie if at the hour and a half mark, I would have given the movie like a solid 7.5. In toto, at the end, I have to give the movie a 2. It ruined itself, which is unfortunate. And that's the way it goes. But of course, my opinion is my opinion. My opinion is my opinion. It's just an opinion. It is just an opinion. You're free to have your own thoughts and ideas and concepts and conceptions. And there's no one to say, who's right and who's wrong, and it is what it is. It's an artistic achievement. The Matrix Resurrections is. As we move forward through time. There you go. Interesting. Here's Dan Dawson. In my opinion, Eric Dyson is better than Cornel West. Cornel West. Hey, look at this. Check this out. Cornel West. Philip Glass. God, should I be honest? Cornel West, Philip Glass. Let me think of another one. Fuck. Jordan B. Peterson. Who are experts at marketing. Now, I love Philip Glass. But there is no doubt that the people in even the avant-garde circles, including Pablo Picasso, the people that are famous and remembered are not necessarily the best. They are the ones that are the best at playing the game. Brian Eno, Pablo Picasso, Philip Glass. There are plenty of people that are better. We're better than these people. God bless them. That would never touch these people because these people were on the grind, never doing drugs, never getting fucked up, coming home, doing the do, and just hitting that grindstone. God bless them. Anyway, that's my review. I gotta go. I got places to go. I got things to see. I don't not like Cornel West. Cornel West is great. And it is what it is. Mandy Armstrong says, I can't believe CW agreed with me. Believe it, honey. Every once in a while, we get lucky, right? There you go. Hollis Hulbert saying hello. Hey, there you go. Hollis Hulbert says, hey, I was going about my day and saw your smiling face pop up. Happy New Year, all my friends. I have to go. I'm behind the 8 ball. I'm running late. But despite the fact that I'm running late, that doesn't give us an excuse not to do what we have to do. We have to pull a card. Lately, this deck has been effing with me. In this sense, ever since I switched from keeping the deck in its case, in its standard, in the box that it came in, and switched over to switched over to having it free in a bag. I've been having problems with it wanting to do reverse on me, but it is what it is. We'll just take it as it is. A card for today's stream, and by extension, a card for me and Lena Wachowski. And I called it the magician reversed. So look, so here's the deal. Here's the deal. The magician learns their trade and they execute their intention. They strategize, they have ideas, and they are trying to achieve a specific goal. This makes perfect sense that in contemplating and talking about this movie that we pull the magician reversed, because in this we see, look, what is this video about? I see the work of Lena Wachowski. I see the work of Keanu Reeves. I see the acting. I see the production design. I see this work. And I say, I don't think you did it. I don't think it was a success. The intention, whatever the intentions were, whether it was your lack of skill, whether it was just luck of the draw, you try, you aim for the stars, and you just miss the mark. Sometimes it comes together and sometimes it falls flat on its face. Sometimes you have to realize that the failure is indicating that you might not know what you really want. Why didn't the spell to get that lovely lady work? Oh, because he didn't do this, because he didn't do that. And some would say, is it because somewhere the fact is you don't really want her? You may think you do, but maybe it's something else. Maybe you're projecting. Maybe you're seeing someone there who isn't there. So it makes perfect sense that we get the magician reversed for a movie that we're saying was not a great movie, that tried to do too much, that tried to put too many things in. And it's also, I think it's kind of symbolic a little bit because I said me and Lena Wachowski, I was thinking one of the themes that I think we're going to end up exploring in 2022 is we're going to look at all the things I've been saying on this channel previously with the 20-year nostalgia loop and the time travel and the hashtag no new music. And we're going to talk a lot about reappraising some things that I may have gotten wrong, that I may have misunderstood or may have done incorrectly. We'll see. We don't know what's going to happen next. That's one thing I think we figured out, right? We don't know what's going to happen next. But we know we pulled the time card, the time card. We know we pulled the tarot card, and we know that it makes it's time for us to say goodbye. I got to go. I love you. I love you. I love you. If nobody told you they loved you today, somebody just did. Okay. Sorry, hold on. Okay, now I gotta go. Okay, I love you. I love you. I love you. If nobody told you they loved you today, somebody just did. That somebody is C.W. Chanter. If no, make of that what you will, because you will. There you go. I miss you too, Dan. I miss you too. There you go. There you go. And we will take it as we take it, and we will see what happens next. And I will be with you the next time I'm with you, which hopefully won't be too long from now. Until then.